Alright guys, here we're looking at the shocks, the rotor, and the brake. I've had problems with these types of brakes. Scooter X supplies their scooters with the same brakes and the same rotor. The rotors are actually very, very nice. I like the way they're ventilated. They do not heat up as much as non-ventilated rotors do, obviously. But it's also very good. When the rotors heat up, they start to eat away the brakes. So that's also something you gotta look out for. So it's very good that X-Treme put these rotors on their scooters. The brakes, actually, I do not like at all, because these brake pads, they do not last long. I've had these brake pads for probably about a month, and they went bad. I have not abused them at all. I press them slightly and somehow they manage to go bad. I don't know what rubber they're made out of, but they're very, very cheap brakes. You can always upgrade your brake system. You can always get new pads, better pads. You probably won't get them from X-Treme, but you'll be able to get them from aftermarket stores. They will definitely have them. So I recommend you buy different brakes with this scooter. The shocks really don't help you, because if you really look at those shocks, they're not shocks. They're just pretty much two metal bars going into the wheel. What this does is it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It gives you a very sturdy ride, so the handling is very, very well maintained. They're very thick. They're probably an inch in diameter, if I'm not mistaken, those metal bars. And they're just extremely thick, which means that they're very extremely durable. They're steel, pure steel, so you won't have any problem with that. But the shocks, they're not exactly shocks. If you jump high, you will still get a big bump, and you'll feel every move that you make. These shocks will not be able to absorb anything at all, because they're not real shocks. Alright, so we covered this area. Now let's move on to the tire. Alright guys, I'm briefly going to state that these tires, I don't exactly recommend. They are 10-inch tires. They're stock with every single XG-550. The main problem with them is that I don't see that there is enough grip when I drive on these types of tires, because these are road tires. They're slicks, that's what they call them. I recommend that you buy thicker tires with better tread on them. That way you can get a grip on the road or your terrain a lot better. That way, you know, you'll get a lot better handling, you'll brake a lot better, you'll feel safer. These slicks I do not recommend. But if you're using them for racing, for example, then they're fine, because you don't really need that much tread for racing. Just on asphalt, not on asphalt, on just normal straight concrete. These slicks actually make the scooter go a little bit faster. If you have deeper tread, your scooter, you know, has to drive over that tread. It's a little bit confusing for me to talk about that, but these slicks actually, they can increase the speed by just a very tiny bit, like a millisecond, but they do make a slight difference. But I do recommend that you get heftier, bigger, thicker tires. You'll feel safer, you'll get handling a lot better, and I just recommend that you buy them. So you can go ahead and do that, or you can just stick with the slicks if you just want to race. Alright guys, here at the back we're looking at the rear rotor, the rear brake. I already told you my story about the brake. I do not like the design of this rear brake system that they put on here. As you can see, the wires dangling, and sometimes the wires can actually get a bit loose and start dragging against the ground while you drive, ripping up that wire. I don't really like that. What Blades did, they actually put a rear power brake, which I also don't exactly recommend, because it eats up the tire very, very quickly. What I think they should have done, I think they should have sealed up the wire a little bit better. I think they could have put a thinner caliber, or a caliper on the for the brake system. That way it wouldn't take up so much room, and that's just my opinion. And of course you have your basic chain drive system, which is on the other side of the wheel, and that's actually, I've had no problems with the chain. Lastly, I was supposed to talk about the battery, of course. The battery does have its pros and cons. One of its pros is that if you're lazy and you don't like to start up your scooter by pull starting, you can just press a button, it starts right up. Bad part is that the battery is quite heavy, and it puts more weight on your scooter, decreasing speed. So that's just one little thing about it, that you know, pros and cons right there. But basically, I've never heard that there were any problems with the battery. I do believe that it has a 6-month warranty on it from X-Treme, and I haven't had any complaints or problems about this battery. So overall, guys, I would give this scooter a B+ to an A- in my review. The faulty engine that I got on my scooter, I believe that was factory faulty. I don't think that's on every single engine. It was just one engine that I guess that wasn't really tested well. But I'll guarantee you that you would be happy with an XG-550. I think they're a great scooter. You just need to really look after it, and do not use the pull starter as much. Try to use the electric start as much as you can, because the pull start, some of the pull starts that they put on there are faulty. I've had so many problems with pull starters. Customers of mine had so many problems with pull starters. It's just it's a big issue, and I just recommend that you use the electric starter. Not only the pull start just damaged itself when you were pulling it, it would also put a lot of strain on the motor mount. I've had problems with the motor mount cracking. But this was on a Scooter X model. The X-Treme models, I believe, are mounted a little bit differently. They're mounted similar to the way that Blades are mounted. Pretty much, the X-Treme, or the XG-550 design is very similar to the Blades models. As you can see, they decided to go with that same design, and it is a very nice, durable design, and it should keep you happy. Alright guys, so thanks a lot for listening to my review on the XG-550. I hope I've helped you guys, and if you would like to email us, you may at www.mountmotor.com. That's actually our website. Our email is support@mountmotor.com. So just go ahead and check those things out, and send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions for you, and we'll actually state them in our next video. I'm going to try to get in one review video a week. If not, then once every 2 weeks. I'll try to do that. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Stay tuned.